Welcome to Theories of International Trade, which is lesson 2 of our course on international studies in business. Let's have an overview of this lesson. Here we will delve into the theories of international trade, which provide a theoretical framework for understanding patterns of trade between countries. By exploring these theories, students will gain insights into the factors influencing comparative advantage and the determinants of trade patterns. Here are the key concepts that we will explore: absolute advantage theory, comparative advantage theory, Heckscher-Ohlin theory, new trade theory, and Porter's diamond model. Esteemed students, welcome to our second lesson on our exploration of international business. Today, we embark on a scholarly expedition into the intricate world of international trade theories, unraveling the conceptual frameworks that underpin the dynamics of global commerce. Our journey will traverse the intellectual landscapes of Adam Smith's absolute advantage, David Ricardo's comparative advantage, the Heckscher-Ohlin model, the new trade theory, and Michael Porter's diamond model. Let us commence our exploration with David Smith's seminal concept of absolute advantage. Smith, the revered father of economics, posited that nations possess an absolute advantage in producing a good if they can produce it more efficiently than other nations. When we say efficiently, it means to say using fewer resources. This theory advocates for specialization. Take note, specialization in goods where nations have an absolute advantage, fostering trade that enhances the wealth and welfare of all participating nations. Adam Smith's absolute advantage theory can be best illustrated through the example of agricultural production between two nations. For example, country A and country B. Suppose country A can produce wheat more efficiently than country B using fewer resources such as labor and land. Conversely, country B can produce corn more efficiently than country A. According to absolute advantage theory, it would be beneficial for country A to specialize in wheat production and country B expectedly to specialize in corn production. By doing so, both countries, meaning A and B, can maximize their output and trade their surplus goods with each other. This specialization and trade would lead to increased overall efficiency, wealth, and welfare for both nations, as they can obtain the goods they need at lower opportunity costs. Now, venturing further into the realm of international trade theory, we encounter David Ricardo's groundbreaking theory of comparative advantage. Take note, Adam Smith's is that of absolute advantage. Ricardo postulated that even if a country is less efficient in producing all goods compared to another nation, it should specialize in producing and exporting goods in which it has a comparative advantage. By allocating resources according to comparative advantage, nations can maximize overall output and achieve mutual gains from trade. The concept is best illustrated through a classic example involving two hypothetical nations. Let us call them Alpha and Beta and their production of wine and cloth. Suppose Alpha can produce both wine and cloth more efficiently than Beta. However, it is relatively more efficient in producing wine compared to cloth, while Beta has a slight advantage in cloth production. According to Ricardo's theory, despite Alpha's absolute advantage in both goods, it still makes sense for each nation to specialize in the product where it has a comparative advantage. What does it mean? Alpha chooses to focus on wine production, utilizing its resources to maximize wine output. Meanwhile, Beta concentrates on cloth manufacturing, capitalizing on its comparative advantage in this sector. By specializing in their respective areas of strength, both nations can produce at lower opportunity costs compared to if they attempted to produce both goods domestically. Now, through international trade, Alpha can exchange its surplus wine with Beta for cloth. Despite Alpha's ability to produce both wine and cloth more efficiently than Beta, it is more beneficial for Alpha to specialize in wine production and trade with Beta for cloth. Similarly, Beta can obtain wine from Alpha at a lower opportunity cost than producing it domestically, thus benefiting from trade as well. Through this specialization and trade based on comparative advantage, both nations can enjoy a higher overall level of consumption and economic welfare. Despite differences in absolute efficiency, the mutual gains from trade allows each nation to maximize its output and improve living standards. This example vividly demonstrates the practical implications of Ricardo's theory of comparative advantage in facilitating beneficial international trade relationships. Now, our academic journey leads us to the Heckscher-Ohlin model, which is an influential theory that emphasizes the role of factor endowments. Take note, factor endowments in determining comparative advantage. This model contends that countries will export goods that intensively use their abundant factors of production and import goods that require factors in which they are relatively scarce. Thus, trade patterns are shaped by differences in factor endowments across nations, such as labor, capital, and natural resources. To illustrate this theory, let's consider the example of trade between the United States and Brazil. In the case of the United States, a country known for its abundant capital and skilled labor, the Heckscher-Ohlin model predicts that it will specialize in and export goods that require capital and skilled labor-intensive production processes. For instance, the United States might export high-technology products like aircraft, machinery, and automobiles, which demand a significant input of capital and skilled labor. On the other hand, Brazil, with its vast endowment of natural resources, such as land and agricultural resources, is likely to specialize in and export goods that rely heavily on these factors. Brazil may export commodities like soybeans, coffee, and sugarcane, which are produced using abundant land and agricultural resources. In this scenario, the United States would import goods that require factors in which it is relatively scarce, such as labor-intensive products like textiles or certain agricultural products. Meanwhile, Brazil would import goods that require factors in which it is relatively scarce, such as high-technology products or machinery. Thus, the Heckscher-Ohlin model provides a framework for understanding how trade patterns are determined by differences in factor endowments across nations, ultimately influencing their comparative advantage and specialization in the global economy. In the dynamic landscape of globalization, the new trade theory offers fresh insights into international trade patterns. Developed by luminaries such as Paul Krugman, this theory highlights the significance of economies of scale, production differentiation, and network effects in shaping trade patterns. It underscores the importance of strategic trade policies and emphasizes the role of firm competitiveness in global markets. An example illustrating economies of scale in trade can be seen in the automotive industry. Consider a multinational car manufacturer like Toyota. By producing millions of vehicles annually, Toyota can spread its fixed costs, such as research and development, machinery, and marketing, over a large number of units, resulting in lower average costs per vehicle. This allows Toyota to offer competitive prices in international markets, expanding its global market share. Moreover, the new trade theory underscores the significance of product differentiation. In today's global marketplace, consumers value unique features and branding, which drives demand for differentiated products. For instance, Apple's iPhone distinguishes itself through its sleek design, user-friendly interface, and ecosystem of apps and services. These unique attributes create a loyal customer base, enabling Apple to charge premium prices and maintain a competitive edge in the global smartphone market. Additionally, network effects play a crucial role in shaping trade patterns. Companies like Facebook and Google benefits from network effects where the value of their platforms increases as more users join. This attracts advertisers and developers, further reinforcing the dominance of these platforms in global markets. As a result, network effects contribute to the concentration of market power among a few key players, such as Facebook and Google, thereby influencing trade dynamics and competition. Furthermore, the new trade theory highlights the importance of strategic trade policies. Governments can implement policies such as subsidies, tariffs, and trade agreements to support domestic industries and enhance their competitiveness in global markets. For example, South Korea's strategic investments in industries like electronics and automotive manufacturing have propelled companies like Samsung and Hyundai to become major players on the world stage. Overall, the new trade theory provides valuable insights into the complex interactions that drive international trade, shedding light on the role of economies of scale, product differentiation, network effects, and strategic policies in shaping global trade patterns. Lastly, let us scrutinize Michael Porter's Diamond Model, a comprehensive framework that identifies the determinants of a nation's competitive advantage in international trade. This model emphasizes four interrelated factors. 1. Factor conditions. 2. Demand conditions. 3. Related and supporting industries. Number 4. Firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. By enhancing these determinants, nations can cultivate a conducive environment for sustained competitiveness in global markets. 1. Factor conditions. These refer to the nation's endowment of resources such as skilled labor, capital, infrastructure, and natural resources. The quality and quantity of these factors influence a nation's competitiveness in various industries. For example, Germany's strong emphasis on technical education and training has endowed it with a highly skilled workforce, contributing to its competitive advantage in industries like automotive manufacturing. The presence of specialized infrastructure like research and development facilities further strengthens its factor conditions. Number 2, demand conditions. The nature and sophistication of domestic demand play a pivotal role in driving innovation and competitiveness. A nation with demanding and sophisticated consumers fosters an environment conducive to product improvement and innovation. Consider Japan's consumer electronics industry, where high domestic demand for cutting-edge technology has spurred companies like Sony and Panasonic to continuously innovate and produce high-quality products that are sought after globally. Number three, related and supporting industries. The presence of strong, competitive local suppliers and complementary industries enhances the competitiveness of firms within a nation. For instance, Silicon Valley's ecosystem of technology companies is supported by a network of specialized suppliers, venture capitalists, and research institutions. This ecosystem fosters innovation, collaboration, and rapid development, propelling the competitiveness of the entire region in the global technology market. Number four, a firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. The competitiveness of firms within a nation is influenced by their strategic organizational structures and the intensity of domestic competition. For example, the rivalry among European luxury car manufacturers such as BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi drives continuous innovation and improvement in product quality and design. This intense competition fosters excellence and enhances the overall competitiveness of the European automotive industry in global markets. In conclusion, the Porter's Diamond Model provides a comprehensive framework for understanding the determinants of a nation's competitive advantage in international trade. By focusing on factors such as factor conditions, demand conditions, related and supporting industries, and firm strategy and rivalry, nations can identify areas for improvement and cultivate an environment conducive to sustain competitiveness in the global marketplace. As we draw the curtains on our scholarly discourse on theories of international trade, let us reflect on the profound insights gleaned from our exploration. These theories serve as indispensable compasses guiding policymakers, businesses, and scholars through the complexities of global commerce. By understanding the principles of absolute advantage, comparative advantage, and other theoretical frameworks, we equip ourselves with the intellectual tools to navigate the turbulences of international trade and foster prosperity for nations worldwide. Okay, so that's all about lesson 2. Now let's have a quick review of the points that we have just highlighted. Question 1. What is the concept of absolute advantage in international trade? Absolute advantage refers to a situation where a country can produce a good more efficiently or with fewer resources than another country. 2. Who is credited with the theory of absolute advantage? The theory of absolute advantage was proposed by the renowned economist Adam Smith. 3. Explain the concept of comparative advantage in international trade. Comparative advantage is the ability of a country to produce a good at a lower opportunity cost than another country. It was elaborated by economist David Ricardo. 4. What is the significance of the Heckscher-Ohlin model in international trade theory? The Heckscher-Ohlin model emphasizes the role of factor endowments such as labor, capital, and natural resources in determining comparative advantage and trade patterns. 5. Who developed the new trade theory and what are its key insights? The new trade theory was developed by economists like Paul Krugman. It emphasizes the importance of economies of scale, product differentiation, and strategic trade policies in shaping trade patterns. 6. What does Porter's diamond model identify as determinants of a nation's competitive advantage in international trade? Porter's diamond model identifies four interrelated factors. 1. Factor conditions. 2. Demand conditions. 3. Related and supporting industries. And 4. Firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. 7. How does absolute advantage differ from comparative advantage? Absolute advantage focuses on a country's ability to produce a good more efficiently than another country, while comparative advantage considers the opportunity cost of production. 8. What role do factor endowments play in the Heckscher-Ohlin model? Factor endowments such as labor, capital, and natural resources determine a country's comparative advantage and influence its trade patterns according to the Heckscher-Ohlin model. 9. How does the new trade theory differ from traditional theories of international trade? The new trade theory emphasizes the importance of economies of scale, product differentiation, and strategic trade policies, whereas traditional theories focus more on comparative advantage based on factor endowments. 10. What practical implications do these theories have for policymakers and businesses in the global marketplace? Understanding these theories helps policymakers formulate trade policies, assist businesses in making strategic decisions about production and trade, and contributes to a deeper understanding of the dynamics of the global economy. Now, I extend an invitation to you, dear students, to engage in a spirited dialogue. Share your reflections, queries, and perspectives on the theories of international trade we have traversed today. For example, which theory of international trade do you think explains more the realities in the international scene now? Let us delve deeper into the intricacies of these theories and contemplate their implications for global commerce in the 21st century. Your insights are invaluable contributions to our collective pursuit of knowledge and understanding. Thank you for your unwavering attention, and I eagerly anticipate our forthcoming discussion in our online platform. Next meeting, we will discuss understanding, or we will discuss cultural differences, which is our which is the topic of our lesson 3. That is understanding cultural differences. See you then. Thank you.